Welcome back, Blade Gang. This old sword with you with a brand new iteration of a theme I've done in the past called Fixed Blade Pocket Check. And this is the latest edition because it includes mostly, if not all, newly acquired fixed blades that might qualify for pocket carry. And we're talking about front pocket carry. They can all be carried on the belt because they come with their handy dandy little Kydex sheaths, and we're going to show you those sheaths in a moment. Maybe not right now, but we'll show you each of the knives sheathed in their Kydex, so you can get a kind of a understanding of how they might be carried in the front pocket. Now, I have several different knives here, 5 of them, 5 fixed blades. Sorry, distracted for a moment by cell phones, mobile phones, messages. Here we go anyway. This is the Enyo, I believe it's how they pronounce it. It's a Spartan Blades fixed blade that I picked up a few months back in 2021. It's made in Taiwan. There is a more well-made or more premium material version. Not sure if it's made in the US or Taiwan or Japan. But this is the AUS 8A version. Not a bad steel for the purpose. It carries very small and is the smallest of the bunch that I have here. And a moment ago I showed you the sheath. It has the most innovative sheath of the bunch in that it locks into the sheath and has a sliding release that very easily in one motion removes the blade from the sheath. So this goes in the pocket. If you'd like, leave the lanyard on. Maybe this is a good cause for a lanyard for these small knives, because you can get a hold of it maybe a little bit easier through the while it's in the pocket. But they designed the sheath well. You can get an index finger between the sheath and the handle of the knife, and without any effort at all, you can unlock that. The ergos are great. You've got a thumb ramp. You can go a little further out if you need to, because you've got a pretty good thickness to the back of the blade, and I can see I'm going to have some focus problems because of what I've left in the background there, but we'll try anyway. It's a skeletonized handle, relatively thick stock, and as I mentioned in many of my collection reviews, you can get the individual details on this through the individual review. Just check the channel, do a quick search, and you will find this knife with a full review. So how about talking about some of the advantages of fixed blade knives over folding blades? It wouldn't seem as though there's an advantage for size, and there isn't an advantage for size, because I can hold this whole griptilian concealed in my hand, and it fits very nicely in the pocket with its OEM clip. You can get a deep carry clip for it as well, and you might do just fine, except you've got to take it out, you've got to open it, and if we're talking about self-defense, if we're talking about defending your life, your family, what have you, in a last-ditch sort of a scenario, in the absence of a firearm or anything more powerful, then you may want to get it out of your pocket a little quicker. And at least in this case, with this knife, spelled E-N-Y-O, but pronounced Enyo, I believe, goes back to the Greek, has to do with a Greek word, I believe. So check the review for that. I sorry I don't have all that data handy for this collection review. But this is in your hand like now and ready to use. It can be employed very nicely in point down, stabby kind of a grip. And it is a great candidate for a fixed blade EDC. Thick blade and not a high grind but flat. It will certainly take care of some utility chores as well, and has a fine enough point for detail work. That is the Enyo by, what did I say, Spartan Blades. Great company, USA based company, and many of their blades are made in the US. Okay, that's the smallest of the bunch, but a close second is the Tour Jank Shank. A little better steel on this guy, S35VN, all skeletonized also with a ring, and ergos are quite nice. And as the name implies, it's very much in the design of a prison shank, because it's just a pointy, stabby kind of a knife. Extremely thick. The stock on this, I think, is about 3/16. So hefty point, not fragile. And I was getting into discussing some of the advantages of fixed blades, one of which was it's immediately ready. Just take it out of the sheath and go. No opening, no fidgeting in most cases. But also, the weakest point of a folder is obviously the pivot. And with some of these fixed blades, you are able to pry and twist and use it as a tool in a last-ditch kind of a situation without worrying about the pivot holding up. So that's another advantage. One advantage, immediate availability, whether it's tucked in your jacket, hanging from your neck, dropped in your pocket, what have you. In this case, we're talking about pocket carry. So this has a very minimalist Kydex sheath. Make sure I got that in the right way. Even with Kydex, you can put the point through and into your hand if you're not careful. A lot of ramp here for push-off. So no problems getting that sheath off in a hurry. Can be held in a karambit style grip. And with a karambit style grip, you want the ring over the middle knuckle. You don't want it all the way up here. You want to be able to release it if you have to, but hold on to it and orient it in a 90 degree to the arm fashion if you are able. And you can ignore the ring completely if you want. If it's on the belt and you've secured it, although this sheath did not come with any belt hardware, you can choose your own apparently. And it's got an adjustable tensioner, which is kind of a nice too. You only see that on certain handgun sheaths and more expensive knives. Speaking of expense, this comes in at around $150 or so. The Tour knives are not cheap for, in many cases, the minimalist knife that you're getting, but this one at least is well finished. You know, chamfered edges and what have you, no sharp edges. Some of the others I've seen are, it could use a little bit of extra finishing for the money, if you want to talk about the money. So while that's on the belt, you could definitely pull it out of the sheath with the ring instead of thumbing it off. But while it's in the pocket, you can thumb it off quite easily, and you don't need to use the ring unless you want to. Using the ring takes a little extra maneuver of the finger, and that is time wasted in many cases. But a good, robust, stabby knife for sure is the Tour Jank Shank. One that's been out for quite a while, designed by Michael Janich by Spyderco, is the Ronin, which is the fixed blade counterpart to the Yojimbo 2 and the Jumbo, etc. line of knives. It's a Wharncliffe for sure, with a straight edge and that kind of humpback design, which gives you a good ramp for your thumb. A lot of the Filipino arts, in terms of knife use, like to use the thumb on the back of the blade for the extra pressure and for the control. These come through extremely sharp, and they're using CTS BD1N steel on this one. And I don't have those specs handy, but it is an interesting steel if you want to look it up. CTS BD1N. There's your spider, there's your hole. Somebody told me that they put the hole in the Spyderco fixed blade so you can lash it. I'm going to say that the hole is there because that's Spyderco's trademark. They've even prevented other people from using a hole on their knife, even their fixed blades. They are so in possession of that copyright to have a hole in the blade. But sure, yeah, you could use it to lash it. I don't see a circumstance where this particular knife is going to be used to create a spear, but hey, whatever. Very thin, flat handle on this. Others have remarked that the sheath is a bit wide. They used a little too much Kydex. You can decide that for yourself. It comes with this springy kind of, I think they call it Bolteron clip. Looks like it will hold on pretty well, but only to certain thicknesses of belt. If you wear a thinner belt, you may be out of luck with that. You may need to swap it out for another carry method. I like the loop. So it goes inside the pants, the loop goes under the belt and snaps in place. That's probably the best carry for that. But we're talking pocket today, so will it thumb off? Absolutely. And there you go. So if you like the Wharncliffe style blade and it isn't too big and it will fit in the pocket, we've got the Ronin. Narrowing it down now. The Rapid Strike from Tops. This is kind of like a steak knife on steroids. They make a sharpened and an unsharpened swedge version of this knife. You can buy the unsharpened version that I have here and sharpen it without too much difficulty. You're not going to have a real sharp edge because we're talking about that grind starting pretty much in the middle of the blade. You've got some excellent jimping, almost too aggressive, but your thumb isn't going anywhere. It bites really good. For basically cosmetic appearances, we've got an interesting jimping that runs all the way around the back of the knife and all the way under the grip of the knife with a red liner. So very classy. For about 115 or so that I've seen them, this is a really good choice, and they made it out of 154 cm, which is amazing for Tops. Tops really likes their tool steels. Their what are they using? 1075, 1095, that sort of stuff, which are rustable steels if you don't take care of them. With this being worn close to the body all the time and coming in 154 cm, I think that's a great idea because that is a stainless steel and the sheath is quite nice. They use a spring clip on this one. Again, you can always remove it and put your choice of clip on. The problem with the spring clip is that it stands it straight up and down on the belt, and unless you fool around with it a little bit, you may not be able to get any other kind of positioning with it. So this would be another good candidate for a loop strap with a one-way snap. Does it thumb off? Absolutely. And as you pull it out, that's going to stay in your pants, hopefully. The reason that hung on is there is a little bit of tension here before it locks in. But it comes off quite nicely with no problems whatsoever. It is a very stabby, piercing knife, but with an edge that is sharp and can be used. Again, this could make a good utility knife if this is all you're carrying. It is longer than many of the others, And we'll do a lineup before we finish up, but it is longer blade overall than, say, something like the Spartan blades here. And you can see that very easily, how much shorter the Spartan blades is to the Rapid Strike. So if you're looking real small, I like this Enyo. Okay, that's the Rapid Strike, and we're running along, so I'm going to move it along. This is my fixed blade knife of the year. I haven't really done a video announcing that, but this is an amazing, ergonomically friendly knife designed by Bob Trezzuola. It is the Tamashii, made by Civivi. It is in a modest D2 steel, but the finishing is amazing. Beautiful satin finish on this knife. It's both a work of art. This is what Bob Trezzuola does, a work of art that's functional. And a beautiful radius in contouring to the handle. These come in a army green and in the black at this time, which is, we're right before the new year here, 2021. So happy new year to you all. Hope 2022 is better for you if you're struggling in 2021 like many of us. Got some nice grip here. Got some excellent jimping here. The originals on this, I think he called his boot knife, tactical boot knife or something like that, actually had wing walk tape. A strip here and a strip here. I had that original custom, and they were only going in the 200s at the time, and that was expensive when you go back to the 80s. So it is an amazing knife. It's basically a utility style blade, really taken after the original Tanto shape, with that almost trailing point, but with a swedge. And the sheath is absolutely stellar, excellent, if I can find it. There we go. The tension on the sheath and just the detail that's been put into this knife is incredible. Thumb it off easy, and yet it's rattle free and shake proof. It's really in there pretty good. Comes with the Bob Trezzuola designed clamshell Tech-Lock style sheath, or clip rather. Can be positioned different spots on the knife. And again, any of these knives could benefit with a belt loop, so a belt strap, whatever you want to call it. It's probably light enough to do a neck carry, but it's kind of bordering on being a little bit too heavy for that. So just a really nice functional, I think of all of the blades here, it's the one that combines the best aspects of utility with tactical use and defense. So let's line them up. And see if we can keep the sheaths from encroaching here. And for comparison, there is the Griptilian. Let's put the Griptilian up there for a moment. You know, you can see that most of them aren't much longer than a Griptilian is open, and some are significantly shorter. So there you have my final round for the year of my fixed blade pocket check. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a like, and we're choosing the winner very soon for my 2,500 subscriber giveaway. That's going to be on Monday, January 3rd. So hope you tune in that afternoon to find out who won the 3 really interesting items that we have up for giveaway. Hope you liked this video, as I said, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. This Old Sword, signing out.